Hello there everyone and welcome to The Theorist, here with your host, JC Botero67, and today's focus is on Revelations chapter 19. So we'll go ahead and kick it off with the way it starts off. Ciel is back home now, and it was a long day having walked back from the chapel in the mountain that he was doing his training at. And so when he walks in, he hears noises coming from the kitchen, and it turns out it's his aunt, and she was drinking, and she was kind of on the verge of tears, because she knows that she knew the truth all along, and she didn't tell anything to Ciel, she didn't even hint at anything, and so I guess her worry was that he would be upset with her. But Ciel is far from upset with her. He tells her that he forgives her, and he understands that she needed to be kind of hush-hush about it. And so then the conversation eventually turns into Angelina being like, "Oh, I have to give you something." And this is a quote of that moment. "I was supposed to wait until your 21st birthday to give you this, but seeing as how things have changed so rapidly in the past few weeks, I see no reason why you should not have it now." And so the object that she gave him was a key. And it turns out that the key opens the private office that belonged to Vincent. And it was interesting because until the office was mentioned, or it was kind of mentioned that Ciel had a moment of realization and he ran down the hallway to the room that was always locked off to him. And so that's when it hit me and I was like, oh yeah, this is from chapter 1, he was not allowed in this room. And I know in a very early review, I had said, he's gonna, go in when the aunt's not there and find out something. But that's not how it turned out, of course. It was too predictable of a guess, because as Anime Cujo has pointed out before, her stories have so many twists and turns that, you're thinking one thing, but that might not be the direction that it goes. So this was definitely that kind of moment. But anyway, Ciel goes in to the room and he notices these bookshelves just full of books. But Angelina happens to show up as well, and she explains to Ciel that everything that's on that bookshelf, or almost everything I guess, are journals that Vincent was keeping. Journals about how he lived his life as a demon slayer, any research on demons, and other things. And so those journals will definitely be a big help for Ciel as he transitions now into becoming the new demon slayer. He'll read up on the research that his father has done, so that can help him. But anyway, there is a journal that was left open on Vincent's desk. And it was basically a kind of sign that, he was supposed to continue writing in this. But after that night on Ciel's 10th birthday, in which he passed, he was not able to return to continue writing in that journal. So anyway, Ciel goes over to that open book, and, he doesn't recognize what's written on there. It's not English, it's hieroglyphics. So Ciel's eye then goes to a picture that's on his father's desk. And when I read this description, it almost brought me to tears. It was really sad, but I'll go ahead and read it to you guys. This was the description. The photo was a shot of Ciel eagerly tearing open the blue wrapping paper to reveal the coveted game within. Next to him kneeled Rachel, her large blue eyes shining with love for her child as Vincent laughed at the way his son bounced up and down with excitement in his lap. Ciel's bow-shaped mouth was in the shape of a wide grin, instantly recognizing the gift he had wanted to have so badly. So again, this was a picture of Ciel's 9th birthday. So this was a year before the tragic day in which his parents passed. And the gift, interestingly enough, to follow the anime and manga, was a chess set. Ciel had seen his father playing a game against Father Lau, and so Ciel really grew interested in chess, and he really wanted this one chess set, and they got it for him on his 9th birthday. So it was kind of a cute little, past background story, and, it was kind of sentimental. So, Ciel puts down the picture to avoid any more tears from slipping out, and he goes over to this glass case that contains all these weapons. There's, daggers and whatever else. And then Angelina points out another weapon. I believe it's isolated from the rest, kind of on top of the fireplace, and it is a sword. So when Ciel picks it up and, grips the sword in his hand, he realizes that there's a crest on there. And that's when it hits him that he's seen the sword before, and it was in his dream, or actually nightmare, that he had where Aloise was like this zombie, like wandering through the scorched land, and Ciel had that sword in his hand. So again, maybe it's a foreshadowing about Aloise being used by the demons to trick Ciel or whatnot. I mean, I mentioned this in a much earlier review. But anyway, we'll keep going here. So Ciel holds onto the sword, and he eventually goes over to a bookcase and picks up a journal, and he tells his aunt, this will be a good read for me for the evening. So he walks off, sword in one hand, book in the other, and Angelina is just, oh my gosh, you're just like your father. Like, he would not put that sword down, he'd go everywhere with it. So I thought that was like a little cute way to end that segment of chapter 19. So then in the next segment, Ciel is being dropped off at the university by Bard. Bard, it turns out, also knew about Ciel and him being like the next demon slayer. And so when Ciel gets in the car, at first he's kind of like, oh, I don't know how to approach Bard about this. I don't know how to kick off a conversation here. And so Bard's just joking around, and he's like, oh, did you kick some demon butt while you were training up in the mountain? And Ciel's just like, oh gosh. So that was kind of a little interesting exchange. Well, anyway, Ciel, of course, is dropped off. He's making his way over to the church to meet with Spears, when all of a sudden he hears a voice, and it tells him, well, hello to you too. And of course, Ciel recognizes the voice as Sebastian's, and he's just panicked. He's like, crap, I didn't expect to run into him today. I have not even thought up an excuse as to why I just up and left after a passionate night. And so he just looks down at the ground in shame, and Sebastian continues, and he's just all like, come now, is that how you were raised to greet people? And so then eventually Ciel is unable to think up anything. He just starts off with, hey, Sebastian, I'm really sorry. And then he goes on and says, I felt sick. Really, I felt like I was dying. When I got outside, I called Aloise, and he helped me to the church where Father Spears offered me aid. So then Sebastian asks, and of course we know that he knows. He knows the truth about Ciel having converted now into an angel. He's grown the wings. He's gone through the training. But, Sebastian can't tell him that he knows. So, he's just kind of pretending that he doesn't know, seeing what Ciel's coming up with. He told a partial truth with the whole him being sick, felt like dying. Aloise and Spears helped him out. But yeah, the next question that Sebastian asks is, where were you for the past week? Can you tell me that as well? And, Ciel doesn't really answer the question. They just kind of hold each other in an embrace for a long time, and they take in each other's smells and just the presence, the closeness and warmth that they feel being close to each other again after a week. And then just as they're about to kiss, Spears calls out Ciel's name. He's all jealous and whatnot. Wait, what? I'm just kidding. He's not jealous. But he is pretty upset because Ciel is a bit late to the meeting that they have with a certain somebody, and I'll mention the name of that person later on. But anyway, Ciel kind of breaks away from Sebastian and tells him, hey, can I call you later? We'll definitely talk then. And so just before Ciel leaves, Sebastian turns him back around, kisses him, and he says, later, and you had better not run away on me again. And so Sebastian turns on his way, and he basically leaves Ciel a flushed, breathless mess. So then, after that, Ciel walks over to where Spears is, and, instead of reprimanding him, Spears is just turning on his heels, going up the stairs, and says, come now, we don't want to keep Undertaker waiting. So we get to meet Undertaker in the next chapter. That's, super exciting. I was waiting for the time that he would appear. And so, I don't know what role he has to play with this. He probably is a holy person. That's going to be interesting to see. So definitely looking forward to that. And I do want to conclude with a question that Anime Kujo asked in her author's note. It says, who do you think will jump whose bones when Sebi and Ciel finally get some alone time? My answer to that, maybe Ciel. I'm thinking back to a review that a reader left saying that, oh, Ciel, if he can't come up with a good reason, he can at least make it up to Sebastian in other ways. So, I don't know, that kind of influenced my thinking, and, it would just be different and interesting to see Ciel actually be the one who puts the moves on Sebastian this time around in the upcoming Lemon. I'm sure we'll get one. I don't know if it'll be next chapter or the following, but there is definitely a Lemon scene in store for us. So, I will leave you guys to your imagination with that, and I will see you in the next review.